Hi, USANA, and welcome to another Larsen Global podcast. I am really excited about this podcast because, as you can see, sitting here with me is my beautiful daughter, Sharlie. And honestly, it's just a dream come true to have her on this podcast with me. And we have just recently returned from one of our very favorite places on the face of the earth.
Sanoviv. We just got back from Sanoviv.
So we thought we'd take this opportunity on this podcast to tell you why we love Sanoviv so much. This is not a paid advertisement. We're networkers, and so when we love something, we share it. And we want to tell you why we go to Sanoviv every year. Sanoviv holds a very special place in my heart because I believe the tender, loving care that Sharlie has received there over the past, how many years? When did we first go?
When it opened, I think 98 or 99.
99, 2000, somewhere way back when it opened, I started taking Sharlie there, and I really believe the tender, loving care and the counsel she's received at Sanoviv has had a huge impact on her health, and it's one of the reasons that she's here today. So Char, why don't you tell us, what is your favorite thing about Sanoviv? I know there's so many, but what would be your favorite thing about Sanoviv?
I think it's kind of a general, I don't know if there's one favorite thing, but because of my own health challenges, I've had to stay in hospitals all my life. So I'm very used to staying in hospitals for weeks at a time. And Sanoviv, it is a hospital, but it doesn't feel, just the feeling is so different. It's so different. It feels like a health retreat and just a place of healing, and I think the hospital feels more like a place of
sickness.
Yeah. And Sanoviv, it's kind of like a paradigm shift where it's a place of healing and rejuvenation. And a lot of times when I get back from the hospital, I am just worn out from all the drugs that I've been on, from laying in bed, all the testing I've done. But when I get home from Sanoviv, I feel like a new woman. I just feel so rejuvenated and healthy and vibrant, and that's a huge difference for me. Also the care, I love and respect my doctors, from my CF doctors, my transplant doctors, but it is just a different feeling at Sanoviv. You know that they really love you. You don't have a medical record number, as soon as you get there they take your picture and you have a name tag with your name, and everybody refers to you by your name, and it's just definitely more personal, and it's a totally different experience. But I love the difference between a regular traditional hospital and going to Sanoviv.
And no one would know more than that than you. Sharlie has spent literally from the time she was, I think, 5 years old was the first time she went in the hospital, and as she was growing up, it was typical that she would spend up to 4 months a year in the hospital, 2 to 4 months a year. It's usually a 21-day stay. And so we have spent months and months and months of her life in hospitals, and the contrast is just stark. It's just amazing. In fact, on a little personal note, we were just there a couple of weeks ago. And when we left last year, it was my fervent dream, hope, prayer that I would be back this year with Sharlie, because as most of you probably know who follow these podcasts, Sharlie, how many months out are you now?
Almost 6. On the 16th, it'll be 6 months.
6 months from having a double lung heart transplant. And so we lived up in the Stanford area. She had it at Stanford University Hospital. We lived up there for a while after her transplant, for 3 months. But one of the first things we did when we got back was make an appointment to get down to Sanoviv. So when those beautiful gates opened and we drove through that gate, what was so special to me as we walked through the doors, in fact, before we walked through the doors, the caretakers, the nurses, the doctors, even Jorge and Frankie, who work in the kitchen, they just came running out. And the women, the sweet caretakers in the quiet room, they were just in tears. They just fell on Sharlie, hugging her, kissing her, loving her. And it was just, where do you find care like that? Where do you find people who care that much about you? So I agree with Sharlie. Even though it is a hospital, it feels like nothing like a hospital. It feels like people who love you, and it feels like you've come back home. one of the things I've mentioned before, when you walk into Sanoviv, there in the lobby on the front table, there's always a puzzle. They're always doing a puzzle. And that occurred to me, I mean, I had sort of an aha around that after I'd been there a couple times, because that's what they do. They put the pieces of the puzzle together in your health care. And all of your healthcare practitioners there, your doctors, your dentist, your psychologist, your chiropractor, your nutritionist, the guys at the gym,
Sure.
I don't know. Your
Coordinators.
fitness coordinators. They all work together every morning. They get together and they go, okay, let's look at Sharlie now. They meet together as a team and they work holistically on every, people at the lab. They all work together. Again, that's just a very unique aspect of Sanoviv. Let's talk about the spa a little bit. Favorite spa treatments?
Well, it definitely makes it easier to have treatments. I mean, you still get, when I'm at Sanoviv, I'm still getting IVs and not necessarily antibiotics, but other just more
chelation therapies.
Right.
And
it makes it a lot easier to get an IV when you know you have a massage scheduled for after. So that is a huge benefit of Sanoviv, is the amazing spa treatments, and they are extremely healing. I mean, this last time, because of the drugs that I'm on right now, my doctor thought it would be very beneficial for me to have a lot of lymph drainage, and just because I'm, because of the steroids and other things that I'm on for anti-rejection, I'm just retaining a lot of fluid, and all the treatments that I had just helped kind of release a lot of those toxins that I'm holding in from the drugs. So this particular time I had lymph drainage almost every day. So that was really nice. But of course my favorite is the Seaweed Wrap. I'm sure it's yours too. It's like an hour and a half of just being completely pampered. Yeah.
Oh, the Seaweed Wrap, yes. When you go to Sanoviv, insist on the Seaweed Wrap. It really is an hour and a half. Let's talk about 5 or 6 things that we have brought home with us. Ways our lives have changed as a result of us going to Sanoviv.
Well, I've tried to implement a lot of the things that they teach us at Sanoviv at home. But the first time that I went to Sanoviv, when I came home, I was actually pretty overwhelmed, because they're introducing lots of new things and concepts and things that, including diet and exercise and meditation and just all sorts of things that they want you to work on.
Daily enemas, yeah.
That they want you to work on when you get home. And I just felt like, when I was at Sanoviv, I felt like, oh, I'm going to go home and just implement all of this. And at Sanoviv, your only purpose is to heal, and that's your focus. And when you get home, obviously you have lots of different obligations and things that you, just different time commitments, and it's a lot harder to solely focus on your healing. And so I don't know if this is something that we discussed, but we both kind of have over the years decided to, every time we go to Sanoviv, that we'll kind of have one thing that we work on when we get home. Yeah. And that's helped me just be less overwhelmed with everything that I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. But if I can go every time and go, okay, next time when I go home, I'm going to work on this, or I'm going to change this. It just made it a lot more doable.
One of the things I changed right off the bat is when you go to Sanoviv, you learn that you shouldn't be drinking a lot of water with your meals. Now that was so contrary to what I thought before. I thought if I drink 2 or 3 big glasses of water before my meal and during my meal, then maybe I won't eat so much, What I learned at Sanoviv is that messes up, dilutes your stomach acid is the word I'm looking for, dilutes, so that my food wasn't being digested properly. So
it also changes the temperature of your stomach, and it's supposed to be the right temperature to digest your food.
So now, if I drink with my meals, I don't order water with my meals. If I drink, it's just enough to take my supplements. So that was one of the first things I changed. What else have you changed?
One of the things that I've worked on and tried to implement is the meditation. Every morning the bells ring at Sanoviv to wake you up, which I love, waking up to these beautiful bells. But they wake you up at, what, 6:15?
6:15.
And meditation starts at 7. And you walk down there and you all sit together, and they do different kinds of meditation, but really the whole purpose of it is just to, what they say is just to clear your mind and get ready for healing, basically, just to get in the right frame of mind.
And to learn to breathe. just to center and ground yourself and to breathe deeply. I've really found that I breathe more deeply when I'm at Sanoviv, and I have tried to bring that home, but it's a conscious thing I have to think about all the time, to just take a cleansing breath, you know.
They do go over breathing a lot, and I think that's very helpful, but also just, you know, all of the psychologists that lead the meditation in the morning, they all have different tricks and techniques, but, you know, they'll talk about your thoughts, because obviously thoughts are going to come into our head, and we can have very noisy minds, and they just talk about, you know, letting your thoughts float away like on a cloud or float into the ocean or whatever, but just to kind of clear your mind. And it's very grounding and centering, and I think it's very important when you're at Sanoviv, because you are getting ready to heal, you know, throughout the day, but also at home. It's a good way to start the day, and even if you can't start the day, but just to any time during the day, if you can kind of
access that.
Yeah. Just
in fact, when we remodeled our home here, maybe one of these podcasts we'll have to do from my Sanoviv room. I actually have a Sanoviv room. All my grandchildren call it the Sanoviv room, and it's where I go in the mornings. I've got a pillow there, and I've got all sorts of things that I've brought home from Sanoviv that I use there to help me ground, meditate, do yoga. Energy medicine would be something that I've taken home from Sanoviv with me. If you were backstage at the USANA convention, in fact, if you're going to be there next week, and right before I come on, you'd see me doing things like this. Or tapping. And I know this probably looks, if you're not used to energy medicine, you're going, okay, she's completely lost it. But I've learned energy medicine techniques that bring energy, that attract energy to my life, that help me calm and center. And you know, one of them is just this. I know it's crazy, and I know the people backstage are going, what is she doing? But it actually really helps me. It helps calm me just before I step out on stage. Believe it or not, I still get pretty nervous. So I've used energy techniques. How about diet? Let's talk a little bit about that.
That's a big one. I mean, they just really emphasize diet at Sanoviv, and they have nutrition classes several times during the week. They have detoxing classes. Well, they have classes every night on lots of different subjects, but I particularly like the ones on nutrition. I've learned so much. One thing that I like about Sanoviv is they are very gentle. I mean, at Sanoviv, you're on a very, I wouldn't say strict, but just, you know, there's no
gluten,
no dairy. It's just the most fresh, beautiful,
organic everything's
food.
Organic. The protein that you have, like for instance, there's wild caught salmon. There's
well, they eat, yeah.
There's chicken, but it's clean. They just call it clean protein. And by the way, it's much different. If you've heard that Sanoviv, USANA, they really do go hand in hand, don't they? But if you've heard that Sanoviv, you're just going to be eating like twigs and leaves and stuff, because I've heard people say that. The food is absolutely delicious, and they trick you. They make you think you're having like a burrito, but I don't know what it is in there. It tastes like a burrito. It looks like a burrito. It looks like it's got sour cream on top. It's not. It's some sauce that they probably make out of almonds or something. But the food looks like the food that you, and interestingly enough, it tastes better than a regular burrito. So the food is just out of this world. We absolutely love it.
What I was going to say is that I really like that they're pretty gentle. I mean, they say, Sanoviv, you're eating this way and it seems extreme, but it's really a detox diet, and they don't necessarily expect you, unless you have some serious health issues that they're trying to solve with nutrition, they don't expect you to go home and eat exactly the same way that you do at Sanoviv. And you know, one nutrition class that I really enjoyed, it was Sue Ward was teaching it, and she's
amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, she's amazing.
She was saying, you know, think of your diet now, and I think it was a scale of 1 to 10. She said, you know, an organic orange that you grew yourself and picked out of your garden, that's a 10?
10, I don't know. That's the best.
And then like Tang, you know, is like a 1 or a 0. You know,
there's
that
all those choices.
Processed. Yeah. And she said, just try to get closer to the 10. So right now, if you're drinking Tang in the morning, you know, what could you do to be closer to a 10? And she said that with everything, you know, even like a hamburger, you know, are you going to get a McDonald's burger? Or are you going to make the patty yourself with clean protein? And that's a 10, and the McDonald's is a 1. So just try to get closer to the 10. And I just thought that was a gentle way, because they're just saying, just improve a little. You know, you're not going to go home and eat perfectly. If you're me, you know, it's hard for me, but if I can make little steps.
But think about how our lives have changed. I mean, I think, for instance, we're having wild salmon tonight for dinner. I probably wouldn't have had wild salmon 20 years ago. In fact, when I was raising you guys, Dax is sitting here filming us, so he's going, yeah. I mean, we had that canned cheese that you'd squeeze out of it. It's like, I would never. So even though the changes have been small and incremental, now when I look, we eat way differently. Yeah. We eat organic. I buy organic.
Well, I actually learned at Sanoviv that even local can sometimes be better than organic. That you know you want, but the best case scenario is local organic, and then probably
that
local,
would be a 10. So
but
we have
you learn
changed
little
our diet.
things. Yeah. Also, every morning you start with lemon water, and that's just, you wake up and you drink, and it's warm, isn't it? I mean, mine, I guess you can get it.
You can
cold
do
or
either
warm.
way. There we have it. You use the hot water with the lemon and a little cayenne pepper, and they're organic, fresh squeezed lemons. You squeeze right in your water, and that just gets your digestive juices flowing.
That's another thing that I tried to do at home as well, because it's so. I mean, I actually did a blog post on my blog about it, of all the benefits of just drinking a lemon water in the morning, and you just wouldn't think of it as something so easy to do, but it's a very cleansing, antibacterial, antiviral, detoxing. It's just good for...
And wheatgrass. I mean, I never had wheatgrass before I went to Sanoviv. And still, I don't have wheatgrass too much at home, but I do have the sweet wheat capsules that you can buy there at the Sanoviv store. And I have 2 of those every morning with some water before I start eating anything else. And I just know that I'm getting all that good stuff. I don't know this. They would know the term enzymes in my stomach, and I just feel good about it. I take them with me. They're very easy. If you can't get the fresh wheatgrass, you can take the sweet wheat capsules. So that works well.
Yeah. One more thing that I was going to talk about. I don't know how many we've talked about, but
I think we're over 5, but that's okay.
I think almost everybody at Sanoviv is on digestive or systemic enzymes. And, you know, I've been on enzymes all my life because of my CF and because it affects my digestive system, but I just think it's a good thing. You know, they put kind of everybody on that, and it's just very helpful. I know USANA has a digestive enzyme.
Yeah. That's another thing, another change I've definitely made. And even when USANA came out with it, I knew how important it was, because I had been ordering digestive enzymes through the Sanoviv store. So I was so thrilled when USANA came out with
and then also probiotics. I think those are 2 things in addition, you know, and obviously USANA also has a probiotic, but before, when we first started going to Sanoviv, they didn't. But almost everybody was on an enzyme and a probiotic, and those are things that I've added as well.
I think it's so wonderful that Sanoviv works hand in hand with USANA now in the development of our products, and knowing that they're being tested at Sanoviv, to know that there's that science and those doctors and all of that working with the scientists at USANA. In fact, the last time we were there, we met the newest scientist at USANA. He was there experiencing Sanoviv for himself. So they have a wonderful marriage, a wonderful partnership that I think is just fabulous. A couple things, I know we're going a little long here, but one of the real benefits to going to Sanoviv is you can use that in building your USANA business. I constantly find crossover as I'm prospecting and talking to people. Just yesterday I had a DEXA scan. I went for my DEXA scan and ended up talking for 20 minutes as I was lying there on the table about Sanoviv. In fact, the practitioner pulled up sanoviv.com while I was laying on the table getting my bone density measured. I just talk about it all the time. It comes up naturally in conversation. It gives so much credibility to what we're doing in USANA, because both were founded by this scientific genius, Dr. Wentz, and so it gives us another way to talk about Dr. Wentz and the impact that he's having on the world. Shar, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I would. You know, I was thinking about Sanoviv, and you kind of.
By the way, can I just say you are glowing? You look so. And maybe we give Sanoviv credit. You're just absolutely glowing.
You know, you kind of went over this when you did your introduction, but I just have the most tender feelings towards Sanoviv and USANA. But, you know, one thing I've thought about a lot since my transplant, you know, I just feel like everything has gone so well. You know, I prayed so much that this would just be a smooth journey for me. And You know, I obviously had ups and downs, but on the whole, things just could not have gone better. And I know that such a huge part of that is because I was able to have, you know, to be able to go to Sanoviv. And I feel like even the last couple years that I've gone to Sanoviv and I've known that transplant was in the near future, they kind of shifted and their care of me to kind of basically getting my body ready for transplant. And every appointment that I have with my transplant doctors, they're always just like, you're doing so great. You are doing so great. And in my mind, I'm just so grateful for Sanoviv. I know that that played a huge role in how quickly and well I've been able to recover. I really do feel like my body was prepared for the experience that I had through transplant, and I just feel like it helped me be stronger and recover quicker. And I just owe so much to Sanoviv and to Dr. Wentz, and I'm so grateful for it. So that's what I wanted to close with.
Well, gosh, there's not much I can add to that, but I am going to tell you this, because I think we're putting this up the week before convention. I leave in 2 days for 3 days for convention. So I'm hoping we can get this up prior to convention, because when we were there a couple weeks ago, I asked Tris, who's, I don't know if he's the manager, anyway, he's our go-to guy at Sanoviv, Tris Conley. I wanted to give back. And before we went up this past year to be with Sharlie, I had 3 sessions. Zach joined me for one of them, but 3 different USANA groups of people. I think we had 9 or 10 people come down. And I made it a business training opportunity as well as a getaway to Sanoviv. And they've put together another program. I said, Tris, I'll do that 4 weeks this next year. I'll give you 4 weeks where I will come down and I will spend one-on-one time with this group of people. We'll have classes in the pools. I mean, really, come on. You can write this off as a business training expense. So it's very limited. I think they want to keep it to 8 or 10 people each time that I'm there. I'm not even sure right now. I should have the dates in front of me, and I don't. But they're putting together a special program. You'll get a nutrition advisory certificate. Sue Ward will be meeting with you personally. There'll be ongoing training, as there have been for my 3 other groups. You'll have the whole Sanoviv experience, including colonics. You're going to love that. You'll have the Sanoviv experience. It's not a medical, you know, so don't come if you need to go there to heal. Come there if you need to detox, to relax, to rejuvenate, and if you want to get tips from me on building your USANA business, particularly using Sanoviv. So, because I don't know the dates, this is what you can do. If this is calling to you, and you think, wow, that's something I want to do this next year, then call, why don't you call Sanoviv directly? 801-954-7600. Is that it?
I think so.
801-954-7600. Ask to talk to admissions and say, when are those 4 weeks that Collette is going to be down there? I think it's a 5-night program, 4 or 5-night program. And I'm not even sure of the pricing. I'm not sure. I know that they're going to give you a great deal because you're going to be getting a lot, including ongoing training from Sue Ward if you're part of this program. And then what I'm going to try to do is once a year, maybe have a weekend. I need to get back with the people that came on the first 3 because we want to have a little reunion, maybe once a year, of the people who have come to the Collette weeks at Sanoviv. I'm not giving you too much information on that, but just a little teaser, and just to know that I would love to have you join me there. Shar, thank you. And for those of you at Sanoviv that might be watching this, thank you. You know who you are. I wish I could list every name, all of you in every department. We love you so much. We just think of you as our family. And you know, I'll never forget being up in Los Altos near Stanford and getting this package in the mail. We opened it. It was this huge banner for Sharlie, signed by everyone at Sanoviv, sending their love and prayers, their hope, their positive thoughts our way. We didn't get those from any other hospital that we've ever been at. So Sanoviv, we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.